GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. That's all folks. 22:35. Thank you for joining me tonight. You've all got 24 hours to recharge the batteries before Saturday's Premier League action. Night we could have qualified. 22:30, Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger said, looking at the performance and the way the game went, it was the worst possible result for us, but we have to go there in a positive mood and qualify. Unfortunately we gave a goal away from nowhere, but now we need to recover from the disappointment and prepare for the next game. Of course it feels like an opportunity missed. We could have qualified tonight, but it didn't happen. Their keeper made a lot of saves and they showed their quality by scoring with one chance. But they couldn't score with a combination, they could only do it with the long ball, so we have to look at ourselves. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. It's disappointing. 22:20, Danny Welbeck said, it's disappointing to concede a goal at the end after taking the lead. We will do our own analysis on their goal and make sure it doesn't happen again. This game is done now and there were opportunities for us to score more against a good side. So we have to be positive going into the second leg. It's a semi-final. We wanted to win before the manager announced he was leaving and we wanted to win it after. We are professionals, but seeing him lift the trophy would be the icing on the cake. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. I'm happy to do my job. 22:15, Alexander Lacazette said, it was a great goal to score after the ball from Jack Wilshere and I'm happy to do my job. I really want to play in the final, in his hometown of Lyon. Maybe I'm the player who wants it the most in the team, but we have to work hard to achieve that. Elsewhere, 22:10, Marseille secured a 2-0 victory over RB Salzburg in the other semi-final. They've got one foot in May's final. Twitter roundup. Dave, if ever there was a match which showed the results of Arsenal's gradual decline over the last few years, that was it. Lillian, Arsene Wenger will be heartbroken, his last chance to win a trophy or to take Arsenal to another year in Europe, and he blew it on. And there you have it, Arsenal summed up in one moment. All good, doing well, then one loose ball, defensive error and disaster. This is how we always do it. 2200, so if I've done my maths correctly, Arsenal required at least one away goal in the second leg. The problem with that, Atletico Madrid haven't conceded a goal at home since January 20th. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 1-1, Atletico Madrid, missed opportunity. Arsenal lost concentration once and have been punished in emphatic style by 10-man Atletico Madrid, who've defending in impressive style. The Spanish visitors are in the driving seat with a precious away goal when they head back for the second leg next week. Full reaction on the way. 92, we're well into 3 minutes of added time, but a winner is looking increasingly unlikely. Atletico are clearing it into orbit at every opportunity. 90, late corner for Arsenal. Can they make this count? Nope. The solid Atletico defense clear. I guess that's why they've only conceded 4 home goals all season. 88, save. Ramsey looks for the top left-hand corner with a Mohamed Salah-esque effort, but Oblak makes a terrific fingertip save. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Analysis from our reporter Uche Amako, at the Emirates Stadium. 85, Arsenal failed to assert their dominance, after scoring and it's cost them. Monreal was sleeping at the back, Koscielny failed to deal with the long ball and Griezmann showed terrific composure to finish. If it stays this way, it is advantage Atletico. Arsenal 1-1, Atletico Madrid, GRIEZMANN 82, Antoine Griezmann has never scored a goal in England. He has now. Nacho Monreal plays the Frenchman onside and he's away. He strides past Laurent Koscielny and knocks it over Shkodran Mustafi, who slipped on the line, at the second time of asking. Smash and grab from Atletico, but shambolic defending from Arsenal. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. 79, Ozil goes down just outside the penalty area but the referee waves play on. Might be the greatest refereeing performance I've ever seen. Remember the name, Clement Turpin. 76, couple of changes from Atletico. Savic replaces Correa. Gabi replaces Gamero. It's damage limitations from Diego Simeone. 73, Xhaka goes for another screamer, and I imagine someone in Row C has a very sore head indeed. Over. 70, Saul Niguez is making blocks for fun at the back. Lacazette dances into some space but the midfielder, who's basically an extra centre-back, prevents a goal. 67. Since the start of last season, Alexander Lacazette has scored 53 goals in all competitions, the most of any Frenchman in the top 5 European leagues, one more than Antoine Griezmann. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Analysis from our reporter Uche Amako, at the Emirates Stadium. 65. Arsenal were beginning to look like they would never break down this resilient Atletico defense. But Alexander Lacazette has delivered in a big way for the Gunners. From a delightful clip into the box, the France striker produced a towering header at the far post. He had been anonymous until that goal. 63. Arsenal have kept the ball nicely since taking the lead. Ozil loses his marker with a beautiful touch but Saul makes a crucial interception to block Ramsey's snapshot. Arsenal 1-0 Atletico Madrid, LACAZETTE 60, come at the hour, come at the man. Alexander Lacazette has made the breakthrough and gives Arsenal a precious advantage in the first leg of this semi-final tie. The Gunners get it wide to Jack Wilshere, who stands across up for Lacazette to leap above his man and nod past Oblak. Relief around the Emirates, but can they add to it? GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. 59. So what options does Arsene Wenger have on the bench? Check, Holding, Iwobi, Chambers, Maitland-Niles, Kolasinac, Nketiah. 58. Arsene Wenger looks irritated. It's either because Monreal has shanked a cross straight out of play or because Diego Costa is warming up. Ramsey wriggles past a couple of challenges but Godin arrives to halt the attack. Atletico are the kind of side who wouldn't let the under-10 side score against them in a charity match. 57. Atletico are trying to be too clever at the back. They keep dithering with it and Arsenal are forcing mistakes. I can feel a goal coming. 54. Ramsey goes from distance but it would have to be something pretty special to beat Oblak from that range. 51. There's a growing sense of frustration around the Emirates as an organized Atletico starve Arsenal of chances. They look pretty comfortable with 10 men, but the last 15 minutes could see fatigue set in. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Analysis from our reporter Matt Dunn, at the Emirates Stadium. 48. For once the Emirates did its bit, unsettling Atletico and causing unexpected mayhem in the opening exchanges. However, by the end of the first half, Diego Simeone was not prowling quite so fiercely around the back of the director's box, Arsenal's failure to find the back of the net settling his nerves more than a little. Versalco deserved red and Simeone only has himself to blame for behavior that was bound to receive censure. But the Spanish side are still hanging on to a goalless draw away from home and belatedly they seem to have decided to get back on task. If Arsenal don't take advantage in the second half, they only have themselves to blame. 45, and we are back underway. BT Sport pundit Robbie Savage thinks 0-0 is the worst possible scoreline for Arsenal. What about losing, Robbie? No changes for either side. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Burgosht, quick update about Atletico Madrid's assistant manager German Burgos. He once threatened to rip Jose Mourinho's head off in a Madrid derby, beat kidney cancer, fronted a rock band, starred on reality TV, 35 caps for Argentina. Yeah, he's not to be messed with. Twitter roundup Simon, it's nice to have all that possession but to be fair Atletico look comfortable. Arsenal not really threatening, scrappy at times. You play at home and with advantage, James. Pathetic play acting by Atletico Madrid. Just because it's a foul doesn't mean you need to roll around in agony. Absolute joke. Arsenal have been so poor even with the unfair advantage. Atletico more likely to score than the Gunners. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 0-0 Atletico Madrid, and that's the break. There's a decent round of applause from Arsenal fans. The hosts have held a huge advantage since Versalco was dismissed in the 9th minute, but haven't been able to score that all-important goal. Diego Simeone, who's been standing since he was sent off, will be delighted with a goalless draw tonight. 46. Bellerin finds Lacazette in the middle. He looks to weave his way through a crowd of players but he's eventually dispossessed. Analysis from our reporter Uche Amako, at the Emirates Stadium. 44. After a blistering start, Arsenal failed to get the goal their dominance deserved. And it has allowed Atletico back into the match, with Griezmann forcing Ospina into a sharp stop. With Atletico down to 10 men, Arsenal need to reach the second leg with an advantage. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. 43, chances are drying up for Arsenal now. Granit Xhaka looks to address that himself by sending a 25-yard effort into orbit. 40, bit naughty from Griezmann. He throws himself to the deck, having been breathed on by Mustafi. Bit of gamesmanship from the visitors now. 38, Griezmann gets his first opportunity of the night, but Ospina gathers his low 20-yard effort. While he's still on the pitch, anything could happen. 35, Arsenal have to be more clinical. They will never have a better chance against a manager-less, 10-man Atletico Madrid. They've done well to load the box and commit bodies forward, but they've been too wasteful. 32, closed. Monreal has 6 goals this season and nearly adds a 7th, but volleys wide from Lacazette's flick on. 30, Marseille are leading RB Salzburg 1-0 in the other semi-final. Former Newcastle midfielder Florian Thauvin has scored, assisted by ex-West Ham star Dimitri Payet. Letters of thanks can be sent to the Premier League P.O. Box. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. 29, Diego Simeone is standing behind Ivan Gazidis in the director's box. How long before the transfer rumor machine says they were discussing contracts to replace Arsene Wenger? 26, penalty appeal, Godin and Lacazette have a coming together and the vocal Arsenal fans want a spot kick. Nothing from the referee and nothing from me, I'm afraid. Went down far too easily. 23, miss, Koscielny. The French captain has a golden opportunity to give Arsenal the lead, but he's sliced a loose ball from corner miles wide. 21, Arsenal are bossing things here. Absolutely bossing it. Oblak makes a smart save to deny Welbeck from the edge of the area. 19, can we get back to the football now? Ozil and Bellerin play a neat 1-2 with the fullback sending a fantastic cross into the box. Godin just heads it away. Have Arsenal been doing crossing practice this week? 16, I think Atletico Madrid should be thankful that Diego Costa isn't on the field. He'd be off in the next 7 seconds if he was. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 0-0 Atletico Madrid 13, it's all kicking off now. Atletico Madrid boss Diego Simeone has been sent to the stands after trying to get Bellerin booked for a challenge. 12, fifth quickest red card in Europa League history. Arsenal 0-0 Atletico Madrid, red card 10, advantage Arsenal. Sim Versalco has been given his marching orders for a second bookable offense inside the 10-minute mark after stepping on Lacazette's ankle. He's having to be escorted down the tunnel. He's livid, as is Diego Simeone. 8, save. Monreal flies down the left flank before teeing up Lacazette in the middle, but Oblak parries away the header. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. 7, woodwork, Arsenal are inches from grabbing an early goal with some quick counter-attacking football. Welbeck finds Lacazette in acres of space and plays a pinpoint diagonal pass to the Frenchman, whose half volley shaves the post. Haven't heard noise at Emirates Stadium like this for a long time. 5, corner for Arsenal early doors. Xhaka delivers but Welbeck can't connect properly and Atletico clear. Bright start from the hosts. 3, Antoine Griezmann with a shaved head. Discuss. Back to more relevant news. Versalgico is the first player booked for a late tackle on Wilshere. Quite nasty actually. 1, and we're underway, folks. Huge night for the Gunners. Let's see if they can do something against the mean machine that is Diego Simeone's side. The Arsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal vs Atletico Madrid 2001, quick reminder of those lineups. Arsenal 11, Ospina, Bellerin, Monreal, Koscielny, Mustafi, Wilshere, Xhaka, Ozil, Ramsey, Welbeck, Lacazette. Subs: Czech, Holding, Iwobi, Chambers, Maitland-Niles, Kolasinac, Nketiah. Atletico Madrid 11, Oblak, Versalgico, Jimenez, Godin, Luquez, Correa, Saul, Partey, Coca, Gamero, Griezmann. Subs: Werner, Torres, Gabi, Savic, Costa, Vitolo, Olabe. Nice touch. 2000, well, there's about 5 minutes until kickoff and I'm afraid to say that the stadium is far from full. The Gunners fans who have turned out of the biggest game of the season have been produced red, gold and silver flags. The cynic in me thinks it's to provide the illusion of a full stadium, but the romantic in me loves bright colors. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Arsene Wenger 1959, Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger: it has been very busy, but I try and keep the priorities right because I live for competitions. I will try and do as well as I can for as long as I am here. The fans will be behind the team, don't worry about that. Our home form has been very strong, the weight of the away goal is huge. We ideally score without conceding, which has not been our strongest point that season. We have to stop them counter-attacking, keep Antoine Griezmann quiet and cope physically with Atletico. Farewell tour. Analysis from our reporter GETTYArsenal at the Emirates Stadium, 1956. The countdown to Arsene Wenger's exit continues tonight with his final European home match. And after years of disappointment in Europe, the Frenchman will be desperate to leave with the Europa League trophy and subsequent Champions League football. But to do that, Wenger will need his players to produce one of their best displays of the season against tournament favorites Atletico. Across from Wenger on the touchline is Diego Simeone, who has been linked with his job following the excellent job he's done with the Spanish side. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Marseille vs Salzburg 1953, Salzburg head coach Marco Rose believes his team will require a special performance in tonight's Europa League semi-final, first leg clash against Marseille. The runaway Austrian league leaders have enjoyed a tournament to savor, knocking out Lazio at the quarter-final stage and beating Marseille during the pool phase. They also gained a 0-0 draw at Stade Velodrome, venue for the first leg, and have maintained impressive domestic form by remaining on course for a League and Cup double. Marseille warmed up for the Salzburg encounter by keeping alive their Champions League qualification hopes with a 5-1 League One victory over Lille. I'll keep you updated with the goals as they go in. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Godin vs Lacazette. Analyses from our reporter GETTYArsenal at the Emirates Stadium, 1950. If Arsenal are to have a chance of reaching the final, they will need to break down one of the most formidable defenses in Europe, led by the dominant Diego Godin. Alexander Lacazette has scored 3 goals in his last 3 games but hasn't truly convinced in an Arsenal shirt. There is no better time for him to deliver. Final countdown, 1945, not long to go now folks. The ground is filling up nicely with around 20 minutes until kickoff. The atmosphere feels positive with supporters having their pictures taken, cardboard cutouts of Arsene Wenger. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Zal vs Zoc. Analysis from our reporter GETTYArsenal at the Emirates Stadium, 1940. In Saul, Atletico have one of the best young central midfielders in European football. The Spaniard has a gorgeous left foot and is capable of causing real problems for Arsenal this weekend. In his deep-lying role, Xhaka will need to show a level of discipline that has rarely been seen in the 20 months since he joined the club. Santi Claus 1935, and it does feel like Christmas seeing Santi Cazorla back at the Emirates. Cazorla last played for the Gunners in October 2016, having had numerous operations on his troublesome damaged ankle. The Spanish star has not been training with the Arsenal squad though. Snaps of his kickabout will delight fans as much as the experience clearly boosted him. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Korea vs Montreal. Analysis from our reporter GETTYArsenal at the Emirates Stadium, 1933. With 3 central midfielders in Atletico's 4-man midfield, a lot will depend on Angel Correa for Atletico. The Argentine's low center of gravity, speed and trickery poses a clear threat to Nacho Monreal. Monreal has had his best goal-scoring seasons for Arsenal, but he will have to be at his best defensively to stop Correa tonight. Costa, 1930. I've got mixed emotions about Diego Costa returning tonight. It's kind of nice to see the Spaniard back in London, but nice, like seeing a guy who used to punch you in the nose twice a year. The former Chelsea striker scored 3 times in 6 games against the Gunners during his time at Stamford Bridge, including the equaliser in last season's FA Cup final, which Arsenal went on to win 2-1. The Spain international always seemed to be able to rile the Arsenal defence and was directly involved in red cards issued to Gabriel and Per Mertesacker during separate clashes between the teams. He's still managed to look menacing in bright pink. Impressive. Twitter. Arsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Twitter roundup rules the last European fixture for Arsene Wenger as manager against a seriously strong and talented Atletico Madrid. Ridiculously hyped for this one. Gas, if we go out to Atletico Madrid after playing well and not rolling over, I'll be okay with it. We're good enough to beat them, but only if we defend like professionally coached defenders and give the ball to Lacazette when he asks for it. Maybe, our fan base has so much negativity and hatred towards players it's unreal. Every one of us fans should be behind the team no matter what happens. So let's all get behind the team so they give everyone a night to remember. The program, 1923. I hope whoever is in charge of puns in the Arsenal marketing team is working on something better for Arsene Wenger's departure. Arsene Wenger also looks about 37 feet tall, which I'm alright with. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Have your say 1920. If you want to vent your frustrations, or discuss any issues in the world of football, within reason, then get in touch. You can either comment at the bottom of the page or contact me via Twitter using the hashtag Last Goodbye 1918. Tonight will be Arsene Wenger's final home European game in charge of Arsenal. Someone pass the tissues. The Gunners' boss announced last week he'll end his over 21-year reign at the end of the season, with the Europa League offering the Frenchman a way to go out on a high. Wenger questioned whether a perfect goodbye exists in football. I guess we're about to find out. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Why no check? 1915. Arsene Wenger has been discussing his team selection. He's opted for David Ospina because he's been their Europa League goalkeeper and Petr Cech is still recovering from injury. Jermaine Jeunesse says he approves of the starting 11. I'm sure the Frenchman will be delighted. Twitter roundup. Joe needs something massive from boys tonight. Arsene Wenger deserves a result on his last home European outing. Kevin, listen, they have a very strong defense and the midfield is good as well. But trust me, if Mesut Ozil, Aaron Ramsey and Jack Wilshere were playing against you, you would be terrified. Tommy, last trip to the Emirates this season tonight and my last time to see Arsene Wenger on the sidelines. David Ospina starting sums a lot up. Give me a good final memory, lads. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Team news, Arsenal 1910, Mesut Ozil returns. The German playmaker was sick for the 4-1 thrashing of West Ham last weekend, but he's ready to go. He starts alongside Jack Wilshere with Mohamed Elneny injured, and Alex Iwobi bench dropping out. Elsewhere, David Ospina is preferred to Petr Cech between the sticks with Alexander Lacazette leading the line. No Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, for stupid yet obvious reasons. Team news, Atletico Madrid 1905. Atletico Madrid have named the nearly full-strength side for tonight's tie. Shock, A. Diego Simeone insisted that Diego Costa was fit and ready to intimidate Arsenal tonight, but he'll have to do that from the bench. Antoine Griezmann and Kevin Gamero start up front. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal vs Atletico Madrid 1900, and your lineups have arrived. Everyone's favorite pantomime villain and Antonio Conte's best mate Diego Costa starts on the bench for the visitors. Arsenal 11, Ospina, Bellerin, Monreal, Koscielny, Mustafi, Wilshere, Xhaka, Ozil, Ramsey, Welbeck, Lacazette. Subs, Cech, Holding, Iwobi, Chambers, Maitland-Niles, Kolasinac, Nketiah. Atletico Madrid 11, Oblak, Versalgico, Jimenez, Godin, Luquez, Correa, Saul, Partey, Coca, Gamero, Griezmann. Subs Werner, Torres, Gabi, Savic, Costa, Vitolo, Olabe. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Evening, 18:55. Welcome to our live coverage of Arsenal vs Atletico Madrid from the Emirates Stadium. It looks like all that Thursday night football was worth it. Who'd have thought, right? The sub-zero temperatures of Östersund, the 7 billion Cologne fans invading London and the fright in Moscow have all been leading to tonight. Can Arsenal give Arsene Wenger the perfect send-off with a commanding Europa League first leg advantage? Let's find out. Team news and lineups coming shortly. GETTYArsenal vs Atletico Madrid, Europa League latest score, news and updates from the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal vs Atletico Madrid. Arsenal welcome back Jack Wilshere, Petr Cech and Mesut Ozil for their Europa League semi-final first leg against Atletico Madrid on Thursday. Wilshere, Cech and Ozil missed Sunday's win over West Ham as they were given time to recover from ankle, hip injuries and illness respectively. Sead Kolasinac, ankle, is also available. Henrik Mkhitaryan, knee, Mohamed Al-Neni, ankle, and Santi Cazorla, Achilles, remain sidelined, however, while Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is ineligible. Atletico Madrid coach Diego Simeone insists Diego Costa is fit and ready for action. 29-year-old has sat out the last 3 matches with a hamstring problem, but he's traveled with the remainder of his teammates.